Ramón Rodríguez. Christopher Farrar. Hey, don't lose that intensity now. Lots of love for everybody. Come on now. Douglas Hodge. All right, our first row director, Patricia Riggen. Antony Anderson. Marsai Martin. Antony Starr. He's a bad man. And the one and only, the leader of the pack, Viola Davis. That's right. We get up when that EGOT walks in the room. We're not messing around. Let's go. I want to ask this question to everybody right off the bat. This movie had a lot of incredible action sequences. Which one was the toughest to film? Viola, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I think it's a better question for Patricia. I know the toughest scene for me was the elevator scene. But that would be a better question for Patricia, only because it was a small space and it involved the climbing up, the falling down, you know, the shooting. Oh, I love shooting.
But I heard that. I heard that you love that.
I told you last night.
You told me
She
you did.
likes her weapons. She loves shooting. She loves guns. I think the helicopter was the hardest. Because the helicopter has a big helicopter that is supposed to fall and break in pieces and all these things that happen. So, but each scene was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I forgot about the helicopter.
Producers, how about for you? Because you have to keep the movie on time. That's the most important thing.
I mean, the conference room was really challenging. Actually, that very first conference room, because there were so many people in it, and just the choreography of who's moving, where, and when, and it was tricky. It was a tricky scene.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think all of it was a big team effort. So everything we did had to be worked out and calculated and rehearsed. So all in all, I mean, we pulled it off, but it was a lot of moving parts, and we pulled it off. We felt really good about the action and how propulsive it was.
I want to ask the actors too. What was it for you? Marsai, what was the toughest one for you?
The helicopter. I mean, I feel like also too within that, it was the last scene we shot for the entire film. So it was like, obviously that's what you guys see in the film. So overall, it just was exactly that. Just like we were all anticipating it I know I was anticipating it from day one of like, all right, I know I gotta do this helicopter scene in like 4 weeks or whatever that looked like. So I think for me, that was definitely the toughest, because we literally used all the rest of the energy that we had left and pushed through within that scene.
And especially because I told Marsai, you gotta chew that zip tie. This is method acting. I'm not gonna let you out.
And I chewed it, girl. I was eating it up. I was like, okay. Yeah, it was cool.
Bad. Go ahead, Anthony.
I have a bone to pick with Patricia because
We know your toughest scene. Let's not.
yeah, I'm just saying the fight that I had with a chair that sent me to the emergency room in the middle of the night for 5 hours didn't even make the cut of the film. So I'm just curious, Patricia, as that because that was real pain and real blood and real tears. Is there any particular reason we didn't show that in the movie?
Yeah, and because there was no space to invite the chair also. Yeah.
It's tough when the chair wins, isn't it?
Oh my God, yes it is.
Antony, bad man. What was your, same question for you. Look at, everybody loves the bad guy after the movie's over, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like waiting for shit to hit me. Down here, like, oh!
You're too sexy and charismatic, so we won't ever hit you.
No, I mean, the funny thing is about it, like, you know, I know the role that the character plays in the movie, obviously. But I haven't played a bad guy in my life. Oh, come on. I mean, there's kids here, it can't be that bad. No, look, but truly, like, I think I don't know if there's a key to it, but my strategy towards it anyway is just to build a real person from the inside out, ground up. And then, you know, there's a whole nother film that is like the Eddie Rutledge origins that I've made up. That, you know, it's just about presenting options for Patricia and then seeing how it fits into the overall story. But I give a lot of options and. Yeah, it's really
You did humanize this character, and I have to say, a lot of people tell me at some point they're like, "Oh, shoot, I think I'm with the villain," you know. So there is that testament to you. Normally, people hate villains, and people love you. So
I do have another script.
I was going to say, I knew he had a story for this.
The story of Eddie Rutledge. It's quite touching.
I think the best scene for Antony was facing off with Viola Davis.
Yeah.
I really do. They were incredible in that conference room first scene. They improvised a lot of those lines. Antony would hit her with a line, Viola would hit him back, bigger line, and then because they're both so amazing as actors. So that was really, really splendid to watch.
I want to ask the guys in the back too. What was your toughest scene? Well, you got left out of a lot of them, right? You were like, come on, let me get in there.
Yeah, my toughest scene, it wasn't like a physical at all, but it was probably the scene when I ran into the conference room and then saw my dad on the ground.
Yeah.
And that was because that was like my first scene with Viola, and so that was like a little scary, but also I had to like bring this.
Right, you walk in and you're like, oh my God, it's Viola Davis.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand.
Also, I had to be in like a certain emotional state, so I had to bring that to it. So yeah, that was a little tough.
Trust me, when she hits the red carpet, we're all like, oh my God, it's Viola Davis. It happens all the time. All the time. Ramón, go ahead. I'm going to hear you.
Well, I would probably echo Viola's. I mean, that elevator scene is, you know, you're fighting in a phone booth. And you're fighting in a phone booth with cameras that got to be in there with you. And so it's just tight quarters. We did a lot of training together, and that, you know, it's just physically demanding, and also you want to be safe and careful. And I had a great double that did some of the rolling out of the beast. That's not me.
That wasn't you.
That was not me. But I gotta give props when you have a good stunt double, and he did great. But you know that elevator fight scene it came together really nicely. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, okay, that's cool. My stunt double didn't show up the day I had to fight with the chair. That's how I ended up in the emergency room for 5 hours in South Africa at 3 o'clock in the morning. That didn't make the film.
He absolutely did it all to himself.
That didn't make
He
the
stumbled
film.
into a chair and cried like he needed a ambulance.
Your goons did that to me, Antony.
Oh, for God's sakes. Anthony, you're giving us a bad name, man.
Antony.
On a serious note, I just want to throw in, we had such an amazing, you know, we talk about the stunts and it's very easy to sit here and we talk about what was hard for us, but we had a beast of a stunt team. Ground Pound and the boys down there. Really amazing job that they did because all of us should have come out battered, bruised, broken. And basically,
These guys were awesome because they were the same stunt team we worked with when we did Woman King. So we knew these guys were excellent.
And I remember they had a whole recovery system too, didn't they? Each and every day. Is that true?
Yeah, they had infrared sauna. They had, you know, all of these cryotherapy machines, and I just remember the guy who played I'm sorry if I'm forgetting his name, but his character's name is Sangha, the big guy who comes out of the elevator. And when he came on the set, I was like, Patricia, you want me to fight him? And I remember in between scenes, I was like, so, hi, how are you? So, what do you like to do on your free time? And he says, well, I like yoga and I like musical theater. And
The sweetest guy.
the sweetest guy.
Was there any times where there were bumps and bruises for you, Viola? Were there bumps and bruises in any of these fights?
No.
No, you were like, I wasn't messing around.
Only when she wears the heels. That's why she took them off, right? No.
Yeah, but I didn't have any
It's a
bumps
joke.
and bruises. I'm pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty tough. But I can't remember. It's like, this came right after the Woman King, and I just remember so many bruises from that. Just from trying to keep up with Tuso, running, with my old ass, and tripping on stairs. But I didn't have much of that in this. I stayed pretty safe. Yeah.
You all shot the movie in South Africa. How was that? Is shooting the movie in South Africa, and it was a start and a stop for a second, and then you got going. I'm gonna start with the producers because that's got to be scary when you start and stop.
Yeah, we had multiple strikes, the WGA strike and the SAG strike, so it was really, really tricky. We actually shot the elevator scene, a lot of that scene, before we went, before the strike. It was challenging. I mean, it was stressful for everybody, but the truth is we had an amazing South African crew and people that wanted to go to work. And it's a great place to shoot. So, we chose it because we wanted the location to be international and exciting and something different. It's also it's a beautiful place and there's just great crews.
By the way, Marsai told the best story about going to South Africa twice. Marsai, how was it going twice? And I'll come right back to you.
Oh, okay, yes. So the first time we went, obviously it was summer here, and that means it's winter over there. And when I tell you, they have the most, the wind storms, we was getting our hair and makeup done, it was shaking the trailer and stuff. I was like, what is going on? And this is my first time in South Africa, by the way. So I'm like, is this like this all the time? I'm like, oh my goodness. So when we went the first time, obviously, there was of course there was rain and just, it was really dramatic outside, of course. And then we had the strike, and then we came back, and then it was winter here and summer over there. So I was like, all right, this is more like it. I'm gonna be outside. There we go.
And you had a chance to enjoy South Africa.
Yes, and then we had a chance to enjoy it. Like, we went to the spot. Me and Chris went ziplining towards the end. That was lots of fun. So it was really exciting, and I truly was able to see the whole community and the culture there, and it's just so incredible, and I'm very grateful.
Mm-hmm. Julius, go ahead. You were gonna say something?
No, just to piggyback on what Andrew said, it was a lot of fun because the crews are absolutely professional, and we obviously to stop and start, it was always difficult to stop and start, but we as a team, we surrounded each other, we knew what we had to do, and so we just kind of, put things together and then came back when we were ready to go again. But those guys are amazing.
It's a Southern Hemisphere thing.
One of the
It's a Southern Hemisphere thing. So when we do the Rutledge origin stories, we'll go to New Zealand, where I live.
You already have. I mean, you own Amazon. You got the boys. You got this. I mean, I guess
Yeah, but I'm greedy, man.
Yeah, shout out to the boys.
One of the, for us also, for me, one of the big challenges was how do we show South Africa and its culture, even if, it takes place in one night and, the stuff hits the fan very quickly and then it's all action. So that was, very intentional to put the little choir with the children singing, the marimbas, to be respectful and show what a beautiful country and what a beautiful culture it is.
And I want to ask about that too. All the different cultures that we get to see in this movie. That's the beauty of having it in the G20, and it feels so smart because we get to see people from around the world. Douglas, I'm going to ask you because we haven't talked to you yet. How great was it
Prime Minister
that we had so many different cultures from around the world? We had so many different cultures represented in this movie from around the world. It's
Yeah,
really
I
a
mean,
global movie.
one of the beautiful things about the film is that it encompasses, it's a great chance to encompass all those places. I mean, South Africa itself is, you must go if you haven't been. It's physically a beautiful country. Of course, it's complex and there's huge frustrations and there's great recovery from the abuse of apartheid that happened there all that time ago, and it's still recovering from that, but it is a magnificent place to be, and the crew were incredible. So that was our sort of basis before we even began, really, wasn't it? Yeah, I was just an Englishman abroad, really. It was lovely.
You were that guy, yeah.
I mean, I just said that our film looks like the world. And that was something we wanted to accomplish. And obviously the G20 is about the world. And I think we did a good job of depicting all those different countries and the folks that
And it gives us the opportunity to do G20 Mexico next time.
By the way, Viola, how was it being the president?
For pretend, it was wonderful. You know what, though? I have to say that the challenge of it was to forget about the fact that she's a president and she's still a human being. She's still a mom. She's still someone who has to make decisions despite the fact that she's afraid. So how much do you show her fear when people are coming to the theater and they're like, well, she's a president. How did she become a president if she's, in a pile of pee and poop and quivering in the corner because she's terrified of being killed? And so there's a part of me that had to play that leader that people elected. Mm-hmm. You had to see why this would have been the woman. This is a woman that would jump through the plate of glass first. That's what they say about a winner. A winner is someone who loses but tries one more time. So I was thinking about that with every one of my decisions, in the movie as an actress, that I didn't have the leeway to just play Danielle Sutton, who didn't feel confident as a mom, that was afraid that she was going to get shot and get her behind beat. I had to step up. So how do you play that? It's sort of an actor question. It's a balance. But overall, it was a great challenge in how to play someone who has power. Do you play it, like they say, a soldier is not someone who fights because they love what is in front of them. No, because they hate what is in front of them. They fight because they love what they left behind. And that's what I had to play, that sort of hero. And that's very, very difficult. But, yeah.
I loved your last book, but I think there should be a Viola Davis book of quotes. I just think, we're waiting on that.
But I stole all those quotes, Kevin.
Steal them, that's okay.
I stole them all, y'all.
I love it. Marsai, is it kind of interesting, you're sitting here with your movie mom and your TV dad, and you play a girl who's very far from your character because you've always been the nice girl, and in this movie, you the problem child.
I mean, have I always been a nice girl? I mean, they saw Blackish, bro. I mean, I feel like, Serena was such a multi-layered character, which I loved. I think for her, she was very tech savvy, of course, as you guys saw, in a rebellion, but there was reasons behind every single move that she did. And showing that first daughters can look like anything, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be her fitting into this one box because society is telling her to. And what do you do when your family is one of the most powerful, and your mom is the most powerful person in the world? Like, she doesn't see that, you know what I mean? She is just like regular, any other teenage girl that I know or that I grew up with, and has always done things because she is fighting for her independence and also fighting to show people that she can use her voice, and she also has her own power within that. And what I love in the film is she has that power and she's constantly trying to gain it. And at the same time, she doesn't know that it's really coming from her mother. Like, she is just like her mom in a sense. And that's what I love, and that's what I adore. And I've been trying to find a project that was just like that for a long time, of just having a mother-daughter film that was so in depth and so real. And with this, it was literally just that, and us fighting for our lives. And I thought that was really cool. So I enjoyed it so much. And I mean, it was such a familiar face too, to be able to work with, I mean, somebody that was truly the first person to ever see my potential in this industry, which is Antony. So, I mean, it's honestly the perfect project for me to be a part of and also challenge myself within.
Ramón, I want to ask you about being a Secret Service agent. Did you have to get special training, or was that just instinctual, like, I'm not leaving this woman behind, I'm not leaving the president behind?
I mean, it was definitely a lot of training, but it was great, you know, the idea, first of all, the history that he had with this character, with Danielle and Manny, and, you know, military backgrounds, and I felt like that history and finding ways as much as possible to either showcase it or just show that there's a shorthand. I think it was a very specific Secret Service agent-president relationship. Maybe not all Secret Service agents speak to their president that way, but because they had this history and what they've been through and seeing each other climb up the ranks. And it was great. I just kept looking at ways of saying, how does he continue to just try to do his job, which is to protect her and keep her alive? And he'll do anything for that. And so I found a lot of honor and heart in that, and I tried to really continue to find those moments, even when they went head to head. You know, and that last departure scene that we had together was so heavy and hard and beautiful, where it sort of really see this relationship and how it culminates to this specific moment. But yeah, we trained. Oh, we trained. We did a lot of gun training, a lot of physicals, you know, a little bit of jujitsu, a little bit of hand-to-hand combat. And then again, you know, with the incredible stunt team, like we mentioned, they got to do some of the really awesome stuff. They had one guy, one day my stunt double, so the moment in the elevator scene, before we go up, Manny pops up there, like he jumps up like Spider-Man. That again is not me. And Patricia loved my double so much, he did it during rehearsal, that we all came and were ready to film. She goes, wait. And she calls my double, she goes, do it again. Show everyone what you just did. And again, he's like so limber, he just bloop, bloop. And I'm like, this guy's awesome, he's making me look great.
And you know what, guys? I discovered that he was not a stunt guy. It was his first stunt job. He was a hip hop dancer.
A b-boy.
The world champion
A
hip hop dancer.
Yeah.
Those guys are flexible.
Yeah, exactly. Nimble.
Wow.
Patricia, was there a moment where you had to kind of bring in the doubles and say, hey, you guys back up and let the doubles do this, or let the stunt folks handle things?
Look, this movie is a lot of close contact. So even though these guys are saying that the stunts did it all, they did a lot of it. Yes. Because it's all face. So if you have face, you can't have a stunt double. So they really did everything. And then we had some enhancements from our doubles. So Ramón did everything except that flying up, because that guy had no gravity. Viola did everything except falling down, which was the stunt double. So they really were.
No. Because I didn't want people to see my Spanx.
Exactly.
And you saw my Spanx anyway.
But I VFX'd them.
Yeah.
They're VFX'd.
So the only time you really missed on a stunt double was for Antony. That's it. If you had gotten that day with that chair, if you got that stunt double, everything would have been okay. It would have been a smooth shoot.
Can I at least make the director's cut with the fight that I had with the chair? That's all I ask. Can it be the director's cut?
All right, I know we are here. We're going to take some questions here from folks in the theater, correct?